satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold. Up next. Brought to you by
Ding long like this geisha bar.
It's strong and lasts long.
Like geisha.
Top of the Hour. Brought to you by
NCBA Bank. Go for it.
NBS Live at 9.
Coming up in the news tonight.
In the hands of Uganda Police Force, Trade Permanent Secretary Geraldine Sally charged at the Anti-Corruption Court for causing financial loss. The fate of arrested members of parliament hangs in a balance as the DPP prefers more charges against them. What will be... Several people have perished in a Hoima accident, including police officers and civilians. Chagulanyi in Ntungamo. Will the population heed his call for peaceful protests? Case against FDC's Waswa Birigwa of impersonation flops. Who exactly is Birigwa in the FDC? Karamoja's former Kampala street children returned to Moroto streets, causing mayhem there.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Kanuri Mugume and Samson Kasumba.
Starting us off tonight, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Geraldine Sally Busurwa, is in police custody and will be arraigned before the Anti-Corruption Court on charges relating to diverting money that was meant to compensate war loss victims through their cooperative circles. The charges include abuse of office, causing financial loss, and conspiracy to defraud.
At the Anti-Corruption Court, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives was brought before Chief Magistrate Joanna Chiro under tight security. Prior to her arrival, the DPP informed court that he is seeking leave to amend the charge sheet, effectively adding Sally as accused number 6.
We are seeking leave to amend the charge sheet. We are also adding another count of causing financial loss against Busurwa Sally Geraldine.
Prosecution states that Geraldine Sally Busurwa, during the financial year 2021-2022 and 2022-2023, as a permanent secretary and accounting officer in the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, irregularly introduced Buyaka Growers Cooperative Society Limited among the cooperatives to be compensated by government for the loss incurred during the war, yet the same had not been listed for supplementary budget of August 2021, and that Sally, in further performance of her duties, made irregular payments to a tune of over 3 billion shillings to Kiria and Company Advocates, a law firm belonging to co-suspect lawyer Julius Kiria Taita Nkoko, under the guise of compensating war victims of Buyaka Growers Cooperatives, well knowing that her actions would cause government a financial loss because the said payment was in contravention of the Treasury instructions of 2017.
She has also been, Sally Busurwa Geraldine, she's also been added in count 9 now, conspiracy to defraud.
Due to miscommunication between the prosecution and police, Sally is to spend the night in police cells and will be arraigned tomorrow, in which the Chief Magistrate will give a ruling on the case on the request by the DPP.
Now, Geraldine Sally, who is under spotlight for causing financial loss to the government, who included her grandfather's cooperatives, is accused of influence peddling, among others, falling short of the values of public service. But the question is, how did she get caught inside the cooperatives' deals?
Geraldine Sully, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives, is currently under investigations by the Crimes Investigation Department on matters related to compensation of cooperative unions. Her troubles originate from the Trade Committee report, which cited her in overpayment of funds, influence peddling, connivance, among other things, to cause financial loss to government. First, Sully was implicated to have registered a non-existent cooperative, Bwavum Pologoma, through which 2.7 billion was paid for compensation, yet it was never verified by the Interministerial Committee. The same Bwavum Pologoma was registered by the Permanent Secretary, Geraldine Sully, a revelation she made to the committee, arguing it was under the leadership of her grandfather. She is also accused of smuggling compensation of Okoro Coffee Growers Cooperative, siphoning 1 billion from government coffers. The PS is also faulted for overpayment of 4.5 billion to Usoga Growers Cooperative, which received remittances of 15 billion other than 10 billion. Geraldine Sully, the accounting officer of the Ministry of Trade, asked to pay out 500 million for Lango Cooperative Union Limited, which was never verified. Not just this, another unverified cooperative, South Bukedi Cooperative Union, claimed 83 billion but only received 500 million. The Trade Committee asked the DPP and CID to investigate this accounting officer again over 7 billion accorded to Masaba Cooperative Union Limited. Part of her troubles involve her husband, Victor Usulwa. Usulwa is implicated in receiving cooperative money at different intervals, starting with 436 million as a token of appreciation to his wife from a one Francis Luanga, who drew money from Bwavum Pologoma Growers Cooperative account. He also received 150 million, subsequently 350 million. The committee notes, through Victor Usulwa, the husband to Geraldine Sully, 936 million was given as a token to Miss Geraldine Sully. The same husband was given a loan of 150 million from the cooperative. Clearly, while 2.7 billion was disbursed, only 1 billion was received by Bwavum Pologoma. This saw the committee recommend investigations with intent to prosecute, interdiction to pave way for further investigation, and public service asked to discipline its officer.
Now, the DPP has slapped new charges on the three legislators: Igara East Member of Parliament Michael Mawanda, Elgon County Member of Parliament Ignatius Omakuyu, Busiki County Member of Parliament Paul Akamba for receiving stolen property, while Julius Kidia, a lawyer, is charged with stealing by agent and money laundering, while Leonard Kavundira, a principal cooperative office in the Ministry of Trade, charged with abuse of office, to which prosecution maintains they must plead afresh to, and their bail application earlier made on the 9th of July is overtaken by events. However, the defense team contested the new charges, saying they are brought by the DPP in bad faith to hold their clients longer on remand, where they are already spending close to a month. They say prosecution should instead make a response to the bail application as earlier agreed. The accused were sent back to Luzera, while their co-accused Geraldine Sully is in police custody for now and awaits tomorrow for the magistrate to decide their fate. Now let's go to Hoima. There are contradicting reports about the number of people who died in Hoima accident, with the RDC putting the figure at 8, while the police say the dead were 7. The fatal accident happened in Useruka, Hoima district, where a Chikue police patrol car overturned and fell into the trench. The police were taking murder suspects to Kaseta in Kaboya sub-county to reconstruct the scene of crime, where one Apollo Tumwesje was murdered over marital affairs. The Albertine police spokesperson, Julia Sakiza, says they are yet to establish how many people were aboard the vehicle, since the driver is equally in critical condition, while the car commander, IP Matubua Charles, died also. According to police, the Chikube Resident District Commissioner Amlan Tumsime, the cause of the accident is not yet clear, but confirms some of the survivors are receiving treatment at Hoima Regional Referral Hospital. Now let's connect to our reporter right there. Many thanks for joining us this evening. What we want to understand is why are there contradicting reports on the number? I thought there was evidence on the crime of scene in terms of how many bodies were picked. Alan?
Very good evening, Uganda. It is a very cold evening in Hoima. I am coming to you live from Hoima Regional Referral Hospital, where some of the survivors of that accident that happened in Buseruka, that is Hoima, actually happened. And by the actual time I came here at about 6, I did actually find a lot of police officers, RDCs from different districts actually coming here trying to actually understand the situation. It is a very tricky situation, especially that if I can give you the brief background of what happened, because I do understand Apollo Tumwesigye had a disagreement with his wife over a child actually he doubted to be his. Then on about 13th of July, he had actually last seen, and on 14th his body was found dumped near a man called Rwamahe Mubaraka and Kamugisha, who actually were arrested, but then his family members came from Mutungamo, attacked these two people. Later on, police swung into action, arrested 6 suspects, and then today they had actually gone to reconstruct the scene of crime. Unfortunately, that did not happen. We're even talking about a child of 1 month perishing in that accident. Let's listen to police spokesperson Alan Hakiza and also the RDC Chikube District, Amlanto Musime.
Our vehicle left Chikube Central Police. They were going to Kaseta to reconstruct a murder scene where recently on the 14th we lost one Tumwesigye who died, and there was controversial. So suspects were arrested, and now the team of officers, detectives, were going back to reconstruct the scene. Unfortunately, 3 of our own, including the car commander, 1 inspector of police, Matubua Charles, died on the spot, and the other 2. Then the other suspects, including the woman who was the suspect in this matter, she also died on the spot, and her baby. So 7 suspects died on the spot. And unestablished the number of victims were evacuated to Hoima referral. Once we get their particulars and the number, we shall keep you updated.
So it is very unfortunate, but we need as leaders, police, politicians, civil society organizations, we need to come out with a very comprehensive safety road network, road safety measures, because from the records I have and from what the director traffic for the whole country has said with me today, Albertine region is now topping in terms of road accidents with casualties, meaning an accident happens and someone dies. An accident happens and someone dies.
I can confirm from the outpatient department medics that 8 patients are here, or survivors, and 3 are actually able to walk, but then the 5 are in critical situation. For now, actually, I can say that may the souls of the deceased rest in peace, but also those that are still surviving actually heal and get better. But it is a very cold evening in Hoima. Back to Canary at the Political Command Center.
Thank you very much, Alan Westgwa is Bureau Chief in Bunyoro Sub-Region. Well, we had the President was in Kauku. What happened there?
He definitely was. It's also good to have you back. The President has been in Kauku, and the reason he was there is because there is a facility that is going to be critical. How critical? I don't want to tell the story. Let me hand you over to the storyteller.
President Museveni, while launching a fuel storage facility in Kauku, lauded the state-of-the-art infrastructure as an initiative set to rationalize the economy through getting fuel off the roads. Museveni pledged the government's commitment to improve the surrounding road network to ensure efficient fuel transportation from the facility to the market.
This is the time now to go into rationalization, and this is part of it. By having fuel getting off the roads, you are targeting that rationalization of the economy.
Captain Mike Mukula, the chairman of Lake Victoria Logistics, emphasized the economic benefits of the new facility as an investment that will be a major catalyst in reducing the cost of doing business in the country.
In reducing the cost of doing business in the country, because transport is one of the major cost pushers, but Lake Victoria Logistics will tremendously reduce the cost of transport between Kisumu and Uganda.
The Minister of Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, welcomed the new facility as one set to reduce reliance on road transport, which comes with high maintenance costs, fuel adulteration, traffic congestion, accidents, and related non-tariff barriers, leading to the delays and increased costs.
Your Excellency, this project, this road network, will link to the Nakauka, Kasanje, Mpigi road connection. We are going to have an interchange at the main Entebbe road junction, so that the trucks leaving here going to the west and going to Congo and Rwanda, they don't need to go back to Kampala. They'll just go through the new road, Nakauka Kasanje Mpigi, and hit the Mpigi Masaka road. That way we shall be able to reduce on the traffic congestion.
Back to the political scene now. Preparations are in high gear in Ntungamo ahead of the visit of the NUP principal Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. The National Unity Platform president is currently on a countrywide mobilization support tour for the party ahead of the 2026 elections.
Transport came to a standstill in Ntungamo town as the National Unity Platform Robert Kyagulanyi made his way to the municipality in a procession that took close to 2 hours. Like in Rukunjiri, NUP team moved through the town without any interruptions from police. Later, they headed to Standard College Market grounds to address their supporters, where he was given a stool and stick which symbolizes leadership. Robert Kyagulanyi rallied the masses to peacefully demand for their rights.
Temubera violent. Temukiriza muntu yenna kubagamba kola fujo. Naye njagala mumanye it is your right to protest for a right.
Kyagulanyi insists that NUP is a non-violent party, explaining that their aim is to lead the people of Uganda. The lead mobilizer Fred Nyazi, however, revealed that they are on course with identifying candidates who will contest in 2026 general elections in areas where the party did not field candidates.
The hearing of a case in which FDC's Waswa Birigwa, ambassador of Katonga faction, is being accused of masquerading as the party's national chairman flops. Even when both the complainant Jamal Wante and the accused Waswa Birigwa were present in court, Buganda Road Court Chief Magistrate Julia adjourned the hearing to August 13th, 2024 to give her a grace period to weigh the differences in the submission.
Waswa Birigwa, belonging to the FDC breakaway group sitting at Katonga, was sued through a private prosecutor, Mr. Jamal Wante, who belongs to the FDC Najana Nkumbi, accusing him of masquerading as a party leader. Wante, who serves as the FDC Vice National Chairman, Eastern Region, through private prosecution, wants court to stop Birigwa from impersonating as national chairman and continue to call delegates conference due on August 2nd, 2024. But Waswa Birigwa, through his lawyer Tugume Moses, claims the prosecution is illegal, arguing that Wante's private prosecution contravenes Section 44 of the Magistrates Court Act that requires complainants under a private prosecution to first seek recommendation from the local chief or town clerk to make a complaint on oath, which Wante did not have.
I raised objections that the procedure Honorable Jamal Wante used does not comply with the law. And I basically requested the court that the proceedings be terminated, be struck out with costs, since Honorable Jamal did not get a recommendation from a local chief, did not make a complaint on oath, has not come up with any charge sheet. So basically there is nothing for court to handle as a private prosecution matter.
Justice Julia adjourned the hearing to August 13, 2024 to decide whether court should proceed hearing it or not.
It's mid-2024 and it's understandable that the heat is building up ahead of the 2026 polls. Now, questions are flying in there on whether the registration of political party members will have any bearing on the outcome of the 2026 vote. We speak to policy analysts to weigh in on whether it will or it won't.
Politicians talk about crowd sizes, talk about the size of people following them at a rally, they doctor pictures, because they understand that politics is a game of perception. The one who is perceived to have the largest number as a psyche on the crowd and the voter that normally tilts them to a point of victory. And that's why everybody is obsessed with numbers. I don't think there are 18 million people in the NRM register. I think it is a gimmick. I think it is a manipulation of numbers for the purposes of swaying crowd psychology and presenting the NRM as a very strong party. I think that it is important for those parties not to get engaged in the game of falsifying numbers of members, of falsifying crowd sizes, because it is dangerous. I think a meaningful political party should engage in a process of proper mobilization and registration of members, because membership also comes with payment of membership fees, will help the party to raise funds from its members in selling membership cards. Creating a false narrative does not help the party to raise money, it gives the parties false numbers. So the parties must get engaged in a process if they are allowed. We have seen party activities being blocked by the authorities. But if parties were allowed to go and mobilize, to go and create structures, to go and create organizations and entities in villages, then it would be easier to determine who their members are.
More to come. Brought to you by...
Get it from a hardware store near you. Global Paint, a reliable product.
Sechkubo and team are now left with 5 signatures out of the required 172 for the motion seeking to impeach the embattled commissioners of Parliament. We return with that story.
Imagine a world where dreams become reality. A world where growth is all around us. At Total Energies, we provide scholarships, trainings and internships that empower youth to create impact in their communities. From Wimbabazi, a dental surgeon, to Kemigisa, a mining engineer, and Muchibi, an internationally certified welder and job creator. Young people who are making positive contributions to their communities.
At Total Energies, we are growing with youth to enable them to play an active role in the development of their country. Total Energies, growing together.
Buy genuine Decora roofing tiles, the original stone-coated R-Zinc steel roofing systems from New Zealand. Choose from Heritage, Milano, Shingle, Chic and Classic profiles with a variety of colors and a 50-year warranty. Only available at Depot Uganda. Contact us on 0776 898 888 or 0758 853 285. Depot Uganda. Tried, tested and trusted.
Oh, yeah, lighting up. Stay fresh. You wanna compete? Tell it be my yeah. Lighting. Lighting. I can make a lighting up.
From the refreshing blue of the sky above and down below, We see it on the walls in front of us, on the cars that drive past, and yes, the birds and the beasts. It makes things beautiful. Color is life.
With a wide range of color, Global Paint's range makes the difference on walls. We have Global Silk Vinyl for interior, Global Weathercoat for exterior, and Global Matte for ceilings. Get it from a hardware store near you. Global Paint, a reliable product.
Imagine your favorite team getting more time to play. Or your boss giving you more salary. Now, picture getting more money when you fully pay off a more cash loan.
I've just received 500k. That's right! With more cash from NCBA Bank and MTN Momo, every payment is a chance for you to win big. From weekly draws of up to 500,000 Ugandan shillings to a grand prize of 5 million shillings. Simply dial *165 *40 hash to repay your loan and win. NCBA Bank. Go for it.
NCBA Bank Uganda Limited is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund up to 10 million Uganda shillings. T&Cs apply.
Mothers of Africa.
Mama, will I ever be the best doctor in Uganda?
Well, you've got to be like a geisha bar. Staying strong and go on so far. Never give up till you reach your goal.
Okay, Mama. I'll be strong and go so far. Lasting long like this geisha bar.
Strong and last long.
Like geisha.
Forests are a vital asset to Uganda's economy and livelihoods, supporting agriculture, energy, water, health, tourism and infrastructure sectors. However, our forests are under threat due to human activities such as illegal settlement, tree cutting, charcoal burning, fires and damage caused by grazing. These acts are punishable offences. Report forest crimes to the National Forestry Authority at the toll-free number 0800 264 036 or visit our offices. This message is brought to you by the National Forestry Authority with support from the World Bank. Top stories brought to you by
Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
And
Lifestyle is the premium stone-coated roof tile from Uganda Bati.
And these are top stories tonight. Trade Ministry Permanent Secretary Geraldine Sali charged at the Anti-Corruption Court for causing financial loss. And also, fate of arrested MPs hangs in balance as DPP refers more charges against them. 8 people, including 5 police officers, die in Hoima accident. Now, street children who were returned from Kampala to Karamoja earlier this year are increasingly finding their way to the streets of Moroto town, causing growing concern among residents. The community is struggling to cope with the rising incidents of pickpocketing and open defecation, among other challenges brought about by the influx of these vulnerable children. Authorities had promised to restore order and provide the children with education opportunities when they were initially returned, but this has not happened.
When the street children were returned from Kampala earlier this year, the government and development agencies assured the public that these children will be kept in school to prevent recurrence of their street life. However, the reality is different.
One of the biggest challenges that are being faced now in this town is the street children. The street children is becoming a threat. It's growing every day.
During the day, the street children can be seen roaming the streets of Moroto municipality in search of food. At night, they find makeshift shelters on the rooftops of buildings under construction.
I come very early in the morning, I find them in sacks. You know, they enter the sack and then they go to sleep.
The daily struggle for survival has led to an increase in petty crimes and poor sanitary conditions in the town, with the police confirming that there have been reports of theft and even rape involving the street children.
Street kids sleeping in the streets. They time these women moving at night. But as a security,
we are taking cautious of them. One, the community have already informed us their hideouts.
Presidents are urging the government and relevant agencies to fulfill their promise and implement sustainable solutions to integrate these children back to school and into society.
Emyoga beneficiaries with support from the Microfinance Support Center have intensified efforts to bridge the import substitution gap by enhancing investments in value addition. This as government assured hundreds of exhibitors of products produced from the locally made raw materials some financial support.
During the second National Microfinance and Savings Group Conference 2024, hundreds of exhibitors showcased the potential of actualizing the import substitution endeavor as eagerly wished by the President. The conference held under the theme Leveraging Collaborations, Partnerships and Promoting Savings to Foster Social Transformation. The presidential initiative of Emyoga have delivered the potential of turning the raw materials into valuable finished goods.
The food hot, perfectly hot for 10 hours. Yes.
We're also adding value to matoke and the pineapple by doing wine. And we've gone very far. Emyoga so far has brought us this far because as you can see, we have already gotten even the Q mark.
With the financial component abridged, government has vowed to continue extending financial muscle to organized groups as efforts to eradicate poverty. Among other, 68% homesteads intensifies.
Our incomes increased. We are able to pay the school fees for our children. We have improved our homes.
You are in among women entrepreneurs, you can benefit. But there's also another fund which I want you to interest yourselves in. This is SME, COVID Recovery Fund. President put 100 billion in Bank of Uganda for you people to benefit. Your bank will receive your application, assess your application, and approach the central bank. This money is available to you at only 10%.
You are women.
The Minister for Presidency, Millie Babalanda, on behalf of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has triangulated the journey walked by Emyoga and other entrepreneurs in adding value to the formerly sold raw materials.
And harness the power of digitization to revolutionize financial inclusion in this country. But only if we reduce the cost of data and invest in the infrastructure needed to include rural areas in the digital revolution. Microfinance in Uganda must be the pillar of transforming our people.
Government is therefore committed to easing financial access at both home and group level by streamlining access to finance.
Let's revisit our top story tonight. And now more officials, former and current members of parliament, risk being arrested in connection with the deal of the cooperatives compensation money. Let's take a look at some of those that were implicated in the report by the Trade Committee of Parliament. Others implicated in the cooperative saga, one of them is Odonga Oto, former member of parliament, Aru County. Former woman member of parliament Chankwanzi Nankabirwa Anne Maria is also implicated in the Trade Committee report, and the member of parliament Toro Municipality Geoffrey Ekanya. Minister for Cooperatives Ngobi Gume Frederick and the Commissioner for Cooperatives Bob Bario Badije, among others, are all implicated. But while the implicated officials await them, we take a look at Geraldine Sali's memorable quote during that committee probe. She said, Bwavu Mpologoma existed, and it was founded by my grandfather, Dr. Adolf Chuanka. They actually paid school fees for both my parents, and I knew it very well. There are very big documents if you go to where right now this cooperative existed, and I knew about it. On that basis, I knew that they lost a lot, including coffee machinery. All their coffee was taken. I knew everything about it very well because that is exactly where I come from. She goes on to say, when I arrived, I said this would be very unfair to leave them out because I knew them very well on a personal level, so I put them back.
Feedback brought to you by
Write your story with us. Your story matters.
All right, so let's take a look at your feedback on our opinion question. And tonight we ask, What more needs to be done to curb the increasing cases of road accidents? Hashtag NBS Live at 9. On X, Uncle Richie says, let traffic officers work under road cameras. They're always in blind zones, and some drivers give these guys money to abuse traffic rules like overloading, overspeeding, poor mechanical conditions, no permits, etc. If that is done, unregulated accidents will reduce. Vivi Godfrey Mengonian says all road users should be mindful of the road signs and symbols. Let's plan for our traveling to avoid overspeeding. Bernard Muang says all vehicle owners ought to take servicing of their vehicles serious. Traffic officers too have to enforce this. Then those with authority can work on the well-being of the roads as well as tight regulations on the subject matter tonight.
Social Spotlight brought to you by
Buy genuine Decora roofing tiles with a variety of colors and a 50-year warranty. Only available at Depot Uganda. Contact us on.
In our segment, Social Spotlight, let's take a look at some of the notable figures and what they're saying online. The president said, I commissioned the Mahathi Infra Lakeside Logistics Facility in Kauku, Werenga, a project to transport oil from the port of Kisumu to Entebbe using oil tanker ships. Our transport system is presently irrational because of so much traffic on the roads, which is not economical. However, this is not accidental, but part of the strategy the NRM adopted. The economy is now bigger, but still has 3 irrationalities. Too many vehicles on the road, slightly high cost of cargo, etc. Minister David Bahati says, today I had a fruitful meeting with sugarcane growers and millers to discuss the declining price of sugarcane. We brainstormed on the existing factors and agreed to have more insightful engagements to find solutions to the challenges facing the sector. Asumba will take us through the news around Donald Trump.
When do I get to meet with my MP? Members of Parliament hold regular consultative meetings with their constituents to update them on the activities of the government and gather their concerns, including those being discussed in Parliament. Your MP must seek your opinion on issues that concern you and bring them to the attention of the government. Your Member of Parliament is your representative. Make your voice heard. This message is brought to you by the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda.
For half a kilo of beans, add 2 Royco cubes. Royco cubes for the tastiest beans.
Predict the outcome of 10 football games and win big with tickets at only 500 shillings. Play for this Monday's draw to stand a chance to win big with Sports Stake 10.
Buy your tickets at authorized shops on nationallottery.go.ug to download the app or simply dial *278#.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
And I'm on the move. Bring your groove and I'll bring my flavor. Bring your vibe and I'll bring the tingles. Tell me what's your flavor. My flavor's so good. My flavor slaps. My flavor green. My flavor slaps. My flavor pops. My flavor slaps. My flavor fruity. My flavor slaps.
Mirinda, flavor so good it slaps. Enjoy the flavorlicious, refreshing taste of Mirinda Green Apple. Mirinda, flavor so good it slaps.
New Pepsodent Herbal. Introducing a unique combination of herbal extracts in an antibacterial toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums that protects your family and you. Every smile matters.
masters of Now Special present an award-winning Ugandan stout. Now Special Stout. Smooth flavor. Roasted aroma. 4-time Monde Gold Awards winner. Now in a premium new label.
Bakaima Real Estate.
Your land is secure when you buy from Bakaima.
No property is too big, no details too small. Bakaima.
We can identify a genuine plot for you. With Bakaima, you only need 30% initial deposit to start enjoying the benefits of a landlord through financing from our partner banks.
Ndi waneno okuzula ekifo kye kirungi mu Bakaima wayinza okuteeka ennyumba ye y'ekirooto.
From tenant to landlord, this is Bakaima Real Estates. Real people invest in real value. That's Real Estates. For more information, reach us at Ham Towers, Makerere, first floor, or call us.
Bakaima Real Estate. Beba Singa.
President Joe Biden's re-election bid is faced with more turmoil, if there wasn't enough already, for his mishaps whilst in the debate and poor performance thereof. But right now, he's being pushed from within his party to consider pulling out, as we now hear that top Democrats have been privately pushing him to end his campaign. Now, for more on U.S. politics, we cross over to Washington, D.C., where Esther Gitui-Ewart is for us. Esther, it's good to see you after some time. Why is there this continuous, I think it began as subtle, now not so subtle, pushing of Joe Biden to step aside?
Actually, you'll read even more stories tomorrow about this, and he might consider doing that. But we're there to know. The possibility of Biden being a one-term president looks likely now. Unlike Trump, who was in his 70s and still going strong, even though he is approaching 80 years, President Biden seems to have less and less support from within his own Democratic Party, as you mentioned, with news reports here in Washington, D.C. says that a number of key Democratic leaders there, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, have actually directly asked him to consider stepping aside. He has had a lot of mishaps and missteps, as you know, and did not perform very well during the debate with Trump. So a lot of events happening after that debate, and Trump appears to do much better and has a more solid backing from his Republican Party than Joe Biden. Now, if you're wondering who is doing well with the polls as we speak, the national polls here don't look very favorable for President Joe Biden. So they're suggesting that because the polls nationally don't look that good, maybe it's about time for him to pass the baton to a younger person. The question is, who would that be? We haven't had a mention of the vice president here, so we don't know exactly what they are assuming, but it looks likely that President Biden is being pushed out, and we only are talking about 4 months before we go to the polls around November to elect the new president. So Samson, things are happening around the world, and certainly the world of politics right here in Washington, D.C. is getting hotter by the day.
And thank you very much. As if not enough, the events of Saturday haven't helped the polls. We will get into that story sometime soon. Still in the United States, the RNC is on. That is the Republican National Congress, and that is in Milwaukee, if you understand Wisconsin very well. And we now do know that the Republican nominee for vice president is already receiving a very warm reception. Does have a very interesting background, and we do have a report on this.
Hi, I'm Carol Van Dam in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, just outside the Republican National Convention, where we heard J.D. Vance, the vice presidential candidate for Donald Trump, giving his big spotlight speech last night to a full crowd, full audience. A number of times in the speech, people were all on their feet. It was a standing ovation when he talked about his personal story, especially growing up in Appalachia, Ohio, Southwest Ohio, a very poor area of Ohio in the Midwestern part of the United States. I talked to a couple of delegates on the floor afterward when it finished about 10 o'clock Central Time here in Wisconsin. And they were all very, very optimistic and said he did a great job. One was a man who said that he was very happy that a veteran was coming into the White House. I asked him if he was a vet. He said no, or vice presidents for that matter. And he said that in his mind, every day is Veterans Day. I talked to another delegate on the floor from Nebraska who said he thought he did a great job and it was a wonderful Yale Law School and graduate and become very successful in Silicon Valley. I have his name, but I asked him to give me his reaction to the speech, and I'll just read it to you. Here's what he had to say. He said, the Vance speech was solid with a lot of populist appeal. It wasn't a stellar performance, but it was solid. The country certainly will love his grandmother, and it was a pleasure to have that kind of experience to be on the floor. He has attended many of these types of conventions. And what he's referring to there with his grandmother, J.D. Vance's grandmother, is he shone the spotlight on her because in his book, his memoir called The Hillbilly Elegy, he talked about how he was mostly raised by his grandmother because his own mother had a drug addiction problem. And the grandmother got a thunderous applause as well. Many people started cheering afterward and yelling the chant, J.D.'s grandma, J.D.'s grandma. So it was an exciting night for everybody in the audience. And then, of course, tonight, we're going to have the big and final speech from the man himself, Donald J. Trump, who is the Republican presumptive nominee. And at this point, there is no question that the Republican candidate is Donald Trump. I'm Carol Van Dam reporting from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Certainly, we keep an eye on American politics, and away from that, let's come to matters local here. Sabia, you're coming up with business. Are the markets up and down or a little more steady?
Some major wins actually today and a couple of losses. We'll have a look at that, of course.
And I'm on the move, bring your groove and I'll bring my flavor. Bring your vibe and I'll bring the tingles. Tell me what's your flavor? My flavor's so good, my flavor slaps. My flavor green, my flavor slaps. My flavor pops, my flavor slaps. My flavor fruity, my flavor slaps.
Mirinda, flavor so good it slaps. Enjoy the flavorlicious, refreshing taste of Mirinda Green Apple. Mirinda, flavor so good it slaps.
Our stories begin right here, and we never write them alone. Sometimes we write them with someone who puts our story first. Other times with someone who puts their own story first. There'll be pages we love to read again and again, and some we'll barely remember. Sometimes we feel like the hero of our story, and other times, not. There are stories of dreamers, stories of creators, stories of strivers, stories of believers, and we're inspired by them all. That's why we invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters.
Spice up your breakfast with Prestige Margarine. Easy to spread and fortified with vitamins A, D, and E. Now available in original and vanilla flavors. Perfect for your bread, chapati, mandazi, and all your baking needs. Find Prestige Margarine at nearby supermarkets and shops. Distributed by Chapa General Enterprises, Shop Number 3, Chikovo, Rafik Building, Kampala. Prestige Margarine. Spread it, taste it, love it.
that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Business Pulse.
A very good evening. My name is Victoria Sabia and this is Business Pulse. The Ministry of Agriculture has intensified surveillance to stop the transportation of planting materials from the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. They are also increasing farmer awareness after the outbreak of the banana bunchy top virus in the West Nile sub-region. We have the details.
According to plant pathologists, the banana bunchy top virus was first reported in 2020 in Arua city, spreading to the districts of Nebi, Arua, Zombo, Maracha, Terego, and Koboko. The spread has been attributed to the porosity of the Uganda-DR Congo borderline that facilitates the movement of banana suckers and banana products. The farmers say that this has brought about a reduction in the banana production, consequently leading to food insecurity in the region.
It is really pushing the farmers into financial indiscipline in a sense that many of them will have to look for other options to catch up with.
This disease is very, it's one of the serious diseases of bananas because once it comes in, yields can be reduced by 70 to 90% in the first season. And then in the second season, farmers cannot get bananas at all. And this is the story that we are getting from the farmers who are here.
The banana bunchy top virus spreads through vegetative propagation of planting materials. It presents with severe stunting, narrow leaves, chlorotic leaf margins, and dark green streaks on petioles and midribs.
The leaves of the banana plant will be bunching on top, and the fruits will not come out, the plant will not flower or produce the banana bunch, or if it manages to produce, it will be very small than expected.
Local agricultural authorities, together with the Ministry of Agriculture, have swung into action implementing measures to control the spread of the virus. These measures include the destruction of infected plants, use of insecticides to control the spread of the aphids that transmit the disease, promoting alternative crops, plus empowering agriculture extension workers with skills to detect and report the disease. David Kutunga, the Principal Agriculture Inspector in the Crop Protection Department at the Ministry of Agriculture, says that the campaign is to increase awareness among the communities about the management of the disease.
After farmers are aware about what is supposed to be done, the ministry will be in position to eradicate the disease in the shortest time possible, to ensure that this disease doesn't spread further.
Assembly is visiting Uganda to study the country's Minister Chris Baryomonti highlights the ministry's continuous e-learning and digitalization of the government services, which serves as a valuable model for other African countries.
The payment system is fully digital. And you may think it is just normal, but there are areas where it hasn't reached that far in some other countries. We now do e-procurement. We have digitalized the procurement system, for instance. We are doing e-learning. Now you don't need to go to a university lecture room, sit there every day for you to get a degree. You can sit in the comfort of your bedroom or sitting room and pursue a university qualification with a diploma or degree and finish. So there are areas where we are making progress, but of course more work needs to be done, like say to digitalize the healthcare provision, agriculture, transport and logistics.
We have said no, let us go and learn from our brothers and sisters in Uganda. We cannot always go to Europe. Though Uganda is far ahead of us, but the challenges they faced might be similar to our challenges. So we will benefit a lot as to how we can address the challenges.
Texo Energies is making some great strides with their fuel card program designed to make fuel transactions rather safer and more efficient for Boda Boda riders. Launched on November 1st in Namasuba, the Tex Boda Fuel Card offers discounts, easy registration and simple transactions. Texo Energies experts have been closely monitoring the card's performance and adaptability, noting widespread acceptance and a positive impact on the community. This initiative aims to give Boda Boda riders a more economical way to buy fuel, and it's seeing significant uses across Kampala.
As Texo, we are doing awarding of Boda Bodas, and we are getting testimonials from the Boda Boda riders of how they have been using the card and how they have been able to win the prizes.
I benefited it through winning a motorcycle, because I would take fuel of at least 30k in a day, and that's how I managed to win the Boda Boda.
Texo has made it so easy that every person, whether you're educated or non-educated, you can use the card, whereby you can load or top up the money on the fuel card at the station, and we have the app, the mobile phone app, where you have to go and download it from the Play Store, install it in your phone, and then you use it to check the details on your fuel card and top up using your mobile phone app.
Let's take a look at today's stock market highlights, starting it off with the Nation Media Group, which made a remarkable lead at 4.27%. East African Breweries Limited follows with a solid gain of 1.73%, as well as Centum Investment Company Limited saw a 1.05% rise. MTN Uganda Limited edged up by a slight 0.41%. On the downside, otherwise, Bank Limited has dropped by 1.00%. Looking at the other stocks like KCB Group, which fell by 1.37%. Bank of Baroda Uganda slightly declined to 0.05%. Kenya Airways to 0.0%. The rest of the stocks, including Airtel Uganda, British American Tobacco, DFCU, National Insurance Corporations, among others, have remained unchanged and stable. Let's have a look how much the dollar might cost you if you are traveling. The US dollar closed and was buying at 3,685.86, selling at 3,695.86. The British pound, on the other hand, was buying at 4,794.56 and selling at 4,807.57. The euro, on the other hand, was buying at 4,030.48 and 4,000. In our regional markets, the Kenyan shilling was buying at 28.29 and selling at 28.37, just a slight increase there. The Tanzanian shilling has remained steady for the past couple of days. This is a slight change today, buying at 1.38 and selling at 1.39. Let's dive straight into where you can go shopping this week. You can go to Nakasero, Nakawa or Owino Market. We're looking at sugar that is selling at 6,000 per kilogram in both Nakasero and Nakawa. 5,000 in Owino, which makes it much cheaper over there. Maize flour is selling at 3,000 in Nakasero, 2,500 both in Nakawa and Owino. Rice will be selling at 6,000 per kilogram, 5,500 per kilogram in Nakawa and 4,500 in Owino Market. You can already see which one is cheaper over there. And on the other hand, cooking oil will be selling at around 8,000 per litre in Nakasero, 7,500 per litre in Nakawa and 7,000 in Owino Market. As for soap, you'll be buying a bar of soap at 7,500 in Nakasero, 6,500 in Nakawa and 6,000 in Owino. For cooking bananas, or matoke if we might say, 50,000 a bunch in Nakasero, for 35,000 in Owino. It seems like Owino Market is your pockets this time.
In sports news tonight, with
All
just
is set for
the 2024 Africa Rugby Cup kickoff, all 7 foreign teams are in the country. And also, the Uganda Olympics Committee has entered into an environmental conservation partnership with the Uganda Boxing Federation, has also introduced rewards for the best fans. This is a sports swap.
All is set for the 2024 Rugby Africa Cup kickoff this Saturday after the arrival of all the 7 foreign teams. Kenya, Algeria and Zimbabwe were the last sides to arrive in the morning, afternoon and evening respectively. The tournament that commences this Saturday at the Nambole Stadium will see hosts Uganda take on Zimbabwe in the last game of the day. Namibia opens the day against Burkina Faso. Kenya will follow against Senegal before Algeria takes on Ivory Coast. Action will be broadcast live on NBS Sport. Meanwhile, as Uganda gears up for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games that start this month, the Uganda Olympics Committee has entered into an environmental conservation partnership with the National Forestry Authority and the International Union for Conservation of Nature.
Have 400 hectares of forest area where we're going to restore the forest cover, not only plant, grow and make sure they move.
Looking at how can we support sports to be a nature positive.
The sports people have a forum and have a following, so we want to use them as ambassadors.
The partnership aims at restoring 400 acres of forest cover and an increase of green cover from 13% to 24% by 2024. Elsewhere, the best fan selected from the Uganda Boxing Federation Champions League Fight Night will be rewarded, according to Moses Mohangi, the Uganda Boxing Federation president.
There will be gifts given to them, and but most outstanding is they will have free access for the remaining games until the end of the season. And then if all keeps going well, the best fans will have chances to travel with the national team.
This is intended to inspire and increase passion amongst the increasing number of fans on the fight nights every fortnight.
The one that's going to be more captivating, the one that our teams will be able to identify how he's dressed, how he or she is showing his passion for the sport of boxing.
The Boxing Champions League action returns this Saturday at Logogo Arena, with Chobe Jonah taking on Frank Mawanda in the 5-round featherweight main fight. Action will be broadcast live on NBS Sport.
Discover Prince Badru Kakungulu Heights, looking for premium office and residential space, offering over 2,500 square meters of office space across 5 floors, 35 fully furnished apartments, commercial and retail spaces, a functional hall and ample parking. Enjoy a 360 view of Kampala city from Chibuli Hill, just 2 kilometers from the city center. Visit us today or call 0759 759 999. Connect with us at remax.ug or www.remax.ug.
Sparkle Salon knows that good grooming is not an option in a modern world. It's a basic need. A need which we have for over 2 decades mastered provision of by building a great team of professionals and never compromising on the quality of our products. A need that we exist for and are very serious about. We want to give you the look that you desire. We have created great ambiances and convenience for our clients at all of our branches at Oasis Mall, Garden City, Lugogo Mall, Forest Mall, and Acacia Mall. Sparkle Salon, inspired by your needs.
We all need light in this life, and at Lighting City, we make sure we light up your world in the way that you deserve, with the widest range of classy and unique selection from all over the world, with our customized products like Lighting City chandeliers, wall lights, Lighting City outdoor lights, spotlights and strip lights, bedside lamps, floor lights and garden lights. We also deal in electrical items like switches, electrical cables, and so much more. Find us in Kampala, 5th Street, Industrial Area, Chinese Business Hotel, opposite Mosque. Lighting City, the 21st century electrical and lighting store.
Up next. Brought to you by
Ting long like this geisha bar.
It's strong and lasts long
like geisha.
That's NBS Live at 9 for you tonight. Sibia?
Coming up, Frontline.
All right.
Looking forward to that.
Charles, talk to us. What should we expect tonight?
We are looking into whether this NRM retreat and the resolutions that came out can actually be implemented, especially the question of commercialization of politics. Minister Baryomunsi told us that government is mooting a law to stop money in politics. Can it?
Frontline. 7 days of deliberating and the cries of the war against corruption are at the center. This time, politicians, public servants, and some in the private sector are the targets.
Where we continue to get evidence, definitely that evidence will be used to arrest and prosecute all those officials, especially government officials, that are involved in corruption. And in the coming days, you may see more arrests taking place and prosecutions taking place in this country.
District Service Commissioners are also under scrutiny over allegations of soliciting bribes from those seeking employment.
Gathering evidence about the performance of the District Service Commissions, and action is going to be taken even as we look at the law.
On the other hand, the constant land evictions and wrangles finally caught Cabinet's attention, prompting a resolution to amend the Land Act. Yet, with the run-up to the 2026 elections fast approaching, the commercialization of politics is an even bigger concern, and this too has attracted attention from Cabinet.
We resolved that government will ensure